Kevin's heartfelt story emphasizes that sometimes a little care and timely intervention can save someone from a desperate situation. Let us know where you're watching from. Now, relax and enjoy this amazing story. Kevin had already made dozens of deliveries that night, going from house to house almost on autopilot. It was just another routine shift amid the hectic life of someone who survives on odd delivery jobs. When Kevin rang the doorbell, he heard light footsteps on the other side. The door opened slowly, revealing a child, but not just any child. Max, the boy who appeared before him. His skin was incredibly pale, as if the sun hadn't touched him in weeks. And his eyes. Oh, those eyes carried a weight far too heavy for someone so young. He was terribly thin, almost skeletal, with arms so frail that Kevin had to blink a few times to make sure he was seeing correctly. "Are you okay, kid?" "Yes, everything's fine." "Are your parents around? I'd like to talk to them." "They're not. Do you want to come in?" "Come in?" He wasn't sure if he should, but Max's tone carried no threat or malice. "All right." The living room was a mess. Clothes were strewn across the floor. Furniture was out of place. And most alarmingly, there was no sign of food or any semblance of organization. "Max, what's going on here? Where are your parents?" "They don't care much, you know. They go out, and I don't know when they'll be back. Sometimes there's food, sometimes there isn't, but I get by." "You get by? What do you mean? How old are you, Max?" "I'm 9. Kevin felt a lump form in his throat. How could a 9-year-old child be living in such neglect? As Kevin passed by the kitchen, he glimpsed inside, and what he saw reinforced what Max had said. The fridge was practically empty, holding only a few random dusty items. "This isn't right, kid. You can't live like this." "I'm used to it." "Used to it? No one should live like this, Max. It's not right." Kevin was still processing what he had just heard from Max when the sound of a key turning in the lock snapped him back to reality. The front door opened abruptly, and 2 adults entered with heavy, clumsy steps. Samuel and Kendra, Max's parents, arrived with exasperated expressions, as if simply being there was an inconvenience. When they saw Kevin standing in the living room, their eyes narrowed. "Who the hell are you?" Samuel asked, his voice full of disdain, frowning as if he were already ready for a fight. "My name is Kevin. I'm a food delivery guy. I came here yesterday and today I came back to check on Max." "Why are you inside my house?" She glanced quickly at Max, but she didn't seem like a concerned mother. "Look, I didn't mean to intrude, but when I came yesterday, I saw Max. He didn't look well. And now, after seeing the house, I have to say, I'm worried about him. There isn't enough food here, and the boy is clearly malnourished." "So now you're a doctor? Or maybe a social worker? Man, you don't even know us. You have no right to come in here and make accusations." "I know it seems intrusive, but I'm not here to judge you. I just want to understand what's going on, because honestly, Max needs help. He's weak, and he told me he sometimes goes without food." "Going without food? What are you insinuating, huh? We take care of him in our own way. He's our son, and you have nothing to do with this." Kendra's anger was so palpable that it seemed to fill the air, suffocating any room for argument. Kevin took a deep breath, trying to stay calm, but the situation was already spiraling out of control. "I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just saying that a child needs basic care, and he's not getting it." The tension in the room reached its peak. Samuel strode forward with large steps, his face contorted in fury as he pointed a threatening finger in Kevin's direction. "You're going to leave my house now, do you hear me? Before we have a real problem." In the middle of that atmosphere, thick with hatred and resentment, Max, who had been silently watching until then, stepped forward. His eyes rolled back, and he collapsed to the floor with a dull thud. "Max, can you hear me? Stay with me, kid." His voice was filled with desperation as he tried to wake the boy, shaking him gently. Max's skin was cold, and he showed no sign of returning to consciousness. Max's parents were momentarily frozen, as if they didn't know how to react. Kendra brought her hand to her mouth, her eyes wide with shock. But Samuel still seemed to be in denial. "He's just tired. It's nothing serious. He's fainted before. It's not your problem. He needs medical help. Now we can't keep pretending that everything's fine. This could be really bad." The desperation in Kevin's chest grew as he looked at Max's inert body on the floor. There was no more time to waste. Without waiting for a response from Samuel or Kendra, he pulled his phone from his pocket with trembling hands and dialed 911. "I need an ambulance now. It's a child. He fainted. He's in very serious condition." The tension in the room was palpable, but he kept as calm as possible, even though the anguish was clearly written on his face. As Kevin spoke on the phone, Kendra finally started to show signs of panic. "He'll be okay, won't he? He always recovers." Samuel, on the other hand, remained immobile, arms crossed, his face hardened, still unwilling to accept the gravity of the situation. Kevin ignored both of them, focusing on what was most important at that moment. Every second without medical attention felt like an eternity, and the growing guilt of not having done something sooner gnawed at his thoughts. In a matter of minutes, which felt like hours, the distant sound of sirens filled the air. Kevin felt a brief but intense relief as he heard the sound of the approaching ambulance. He kept his eyes fixed on Max, lightly touching his shoulder in the hope that any sign of consciousness would emerge. "He's dehydrated and very weak, but we'll get him immediate care." Kevin just nodded, but the lump in his throat didn't allow him to respond. He watched as they placed Max on the stretcher and took him out of the house, leaving behind a suffocating emptiness. However, the chaos was far from over. Right after the ambulance left, the sound of a second siren invaded the street. This time, it was the police. Two officers entered the house, their serious eyes surveying the chaotic environment. "We received a report of child neglect. This is ridiculous. We're his parents. No one has the right to accuse us of this." The officers began asking direct questions to Samuel and Kendra as they examined the house more closely. The evidence of neglect was everywhere: the lack of food, the obvious signs that no one was taking care of the child's well-being. Samuel refused to cooperate, shouting, "This is all a farce." But Kendra, visibly shaken, began muttering excuses, unable to maintain control of the situation. "We were busy. This doesn't happen all the time. You are being urgently summoned on suspicion of child neglect." Samuel's protest echoed through the room, but there was nothing more he could say. The officers led them out of the house, leaving Kevin alone for a moment, breathing heavily in the chaos that seemed to have finally found some kind of order. When Kevin arrived at the hospital, he hastily parked the car and ran to the entrance, his heart still racing from what had happened. As he entered, he immediately approached the reception, his voice slightly trembling. "The boy who was brought in just now, Max, how is he?" The receptionist quickly typed something into the computer and informed him that the boy was being treated and that he should wait for more information. After what felt like hours, a doctor finally approached. His expression was serious, but slightly reassuring. "Are you responsible for Max?" Kevin hesitated for a moment before answering, knowing that technically he wasn't, but feeling more connected to Max than he had ever imagined. I'm here for him. How is he?" "Max was extremely malnourished, but we managed to stabilize him. He will need time to recover physically. However, what worries us most is his emotional state. Children in neglect situations like this need much more than medical care." "Can I see him?" The doctor nodded and led him to the room where Max was. Upon entering, Kevin felt a tightness in his chest. Max was lying in a hospital bed, tubes attached to his small body, his eyes closed in a sleep that seemed more like exhaustion than rest. The room was silent except for the faint sound of the machines monitoring his vital signs. As morning arrived, a social worker came to the hospital. She and Kevin sat outside Max's hospital room, her expression filled with concern. "Kevin, we need to talk about Max's future. Max's parents are facing severe neglect charges, and he cannot go back home with them. The question now is, where will he go?" Does Max have any close relatives who can take care of him? Number. And the situation is quite complicated. We plan to place the boy in a foster home. We understand that you and the child haven't had much interaction, but you have helped him, at the very least, ensuring his life was not at immediate risk. I think anyone would have done the same. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing while the boy collapsed. We would like to know if you would consider becoming Max's temporary guardian until we find a long-term solution. The impact of the proposal left Kevin momentarily speechless. He, a food delivery man, was being asked to become temporarily responsible for a child. A wave of uncertainty washed over him. Was he prepared for such a responsibility? Could he care for Max in the way he truly needed? I don't know. I want to help, of course. But am I the right person? I've never taken care of a child before. I don't know if I can truly provide a better life for Max. Of course, if you want to become Max's temporary guardian, you will need to file an application and go through certain legal procedures. If everything is approved, he will be placed in your care. After several months or even a year, if his parents lose their parental rights permanently, you may apply for adoption. Whether as a temporary guardian or a legal adoptive parent, the process takes time. We understand this is a big decision, Kevin, and you don't have to answer right away. But right now, Max needs a stable home, someone who truly cares about him. And from what we've seen, you have already shown that care. I need to think about this. I can't make this decision impulsively, but I care a lot about Max, and the last thing I want is for him to suffer more. The social worker remained at the hospital to ensure Max's safety. The next day, she informed Kevin, the court has issued an emergency protection order, meaning Samuel and Kendra are prohibited from contacting Max during this time. Once he is discharged from the hospital, we will place him in a temporary foster home. In the days that followed, Kevin couldn't think of anything but the proposal. Every visit to the hospital, every moment spent with Max, made him realize how much he had connected with the boy. The child, for his part, was beginning to open up. You're going to keep coming, right? Kevin felt his heart tighten. In that moment, he knew. The decision had already been made, even if he hadn't said it out loud yet. Kevin scheduled a meeting with the social worker to discuss the next steps. He was nervous, afraid that something might interfere with his decision, but he knew there was no turning back. That evening, Kevin took a deep breath and decided it was the right time. Max, I've been thinking a lot lately, and I need to tell you something important. Max looked at him with curiosity, but there was a slight trace of nervousness in his eyes. Max, for certain reasons, your parents won't be able to see you for now. After you recover, CPS will place you in a foster home. I don't know who they are, what they're like, or whether they will treat you well. I want to be your temporary guardian. What do you think about that? You want me to stay with you? Yes, Max. I want to be your family. Without saying another word, Max simply stood up and hugged him. The silent gesture, yet so powerful, said more than any words could. Of course, you will still need to stay in a foster home for a while, because I have to complete some necessary legal procedures. Since we are not related by blood, this process will be more complicated. Can you wait for me? I'll wait for you. Just promise you'll come get me. I don't want to go back home. Don't you miss your parents? I miss them, but they don't miss me. If they did, I wouldn't be here. Kevin fell silent, deeply affected by the painful clarity in Max's words. Samuel and Kendra were truly terrible parents. He vowed to protect the boy in every way he could. For Kevin, it was the beginning of a new life. And for Max, it was the start of a new chance, a chance to be loved, protected, and finally, to be part of a real family. What would you do if you witnessed a 9-year-old child suffering from both physical and emotional neglect? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear more inspiring stories. Goodbye, and see you soon.